Hey guys, it's Zach from Myshire Farm, and I am here with Papa tonight. So we're actually I was hoping to do it on the tripod, but I am technically challenged, so that's not gonna work. So I am gonna move my chair in front of him so I'm not to the side of him.
No. Can't we tip this sideways?
I don't know. We could. Here, hold this. I'm gonna unscrew this. I might be able to put it there. Hold on, guys. Justin says hi. You can read the comments on there.
Justin says hi. Yep. That was my dog, Leo. Yeah, good. We got a beautiful, beautiful evening. It is just gorgeous out today. And I have no idea how it's going to work, but we're
gonna try it. Hold on just a second.
We're gonna give it a whirl here and see if we can't answer some questions.
So you can get your questions ready. I do have, I'm gonna turn that around. There we go.
So the first thing you'll have to tell us is if you can hear us or not.
Right.
That,
Hey, Jimmy from Texas.
all the way to Texas, huh? Something like that.
Well, that would be too easy.
That'd be pretty easy peasy.
Hold on.
We're
I'm
good.
almost there.
We got it. We got it. Oh my God. You had it just a second ago.
Well, you broke it.
I broke it.
Just don't touch it. Oh. All right, I'm almost there. I'm gonna try it one more time.
All right.
That case will take, all right, hold on. Wow, that is a dirty phone.
All right.
Okay.
First question is, can you hear us?
Took a little bit longer than expected, but I think I'm going. Whew, that was a little rough. All right. Justin says, hey, Zach and Papa. Sadie says hi. Scott says hi. Jimmy's from Texas, and Scott says he can hear us. A lot of other people saying they can hear us.
Okay, good.
So we're on. Sorry it took so long, guys.
No, we're still not in landscape.
Oh dear God. It's fine. I don't even care. If you guys can hear us, we're good. All right. So I have some okra from my garden, not suitable for people, but wondered if quail would eat the seeds. It's a Jenna question.
It wouldn't kill them. If they eat it, I'd say they're eating it.
We would try it. We don't raise okra, but we would try it. Florida's here. Small wooden boats. That's pretty cool. Again, if you guys can't hear us, let us know. But we will keep going. So this is the Q&A. It's the last night of the weekly Q&A. And then what we're going to do is so I've done them every night. And going forward, we're going to do one weekly on Sundays. I'll be posting on Mondays what the topic will be. Sometimes it'll be me, sometimes it'll be Papa. I will work my best on getting Jenna to do one, but that is probably not going to happen. Laura from Oregon says hi. Adam says we're coming through loud and clear. So okay. I think we're good on that. So Papa's here to answer any of your questions as far as cages, brooders, building, feeders, slopes, pretty much anything you can think of. He built it all here. The only thing that is off limits, as you all know, is the conveyors, but everything else we'll be happy to help with. What's the app you use to keep track of your birds in the barn? It is old school Word or Excel. I created an Excel sheet and then just update it daily. So I'm not tech savvy. Me and Papa actually talked about it today, and I'm gonna start taking some classes to help us. But until then, it's pretty much pad and paper. Good question. Jimmy says, I watched a video of yours on building cages, but I couldn't find one on cages with the slant for eggs. Do you have one?
No, we don't have a video on that. We could sure do one, but if you watched any of the videos, you're going to know that the tray protrudes out 3 inches or so that you can collect the eggs, which means your door has to be raised up high enough for your egg to roll out. In 2 feet, a slope would be 1.5 inches. The egg doesn't really have to roll out on its own. The quail will occupy themselves and kick it out there as the day goes on. So it doesn't have to be a slope enough that the egg just rolls on its own. So that's, you know, one thing to consider. So otherwise, it's pretty much the same thing that the other video did. You'll just want to have it longer, bend it up so that the eggs don't fall off. And it seems that like they try to do a soccer shot. If you don't have the ends sealed off, they want to somehow kick it off to roll out the ends and drop on the floor. So I've sealed the 2 ends as well. But if we, you know, if you'd like to see a video on it, we can certainly do that.
Well, and we're not using our old cages in the new barn. He's going to be redoing.
Yeah, we'll be rebuilding the cages.
So
in the long run.
Right. So whenever that happens, yeah, we're going to have the tripod set up in the workshop, and then we'll edit it and do his videos like we did with the cage. So that'll come, but we've still got quite a bit of work to do before we get there. Valerie from the UK says she really enjoyed the nightly shows. So she's from the UK. That's pretty cool. Scott, hi from the UK for the last night. Another UK person, which is pretty cool. Sadie Girl Farm says, why, how, you guarantee hatching eggs, etc. Do you think some folks take advantage? How do you handle demand refunds outside of your policies? For the most part, people don't take advantage of it. Some people do, and I track that as far as reships or complaints or anything like that. You know, I kind of track that pretty well. We've had a couple people that I've had to take care of in that manner, but for the most part, people are pretty honest, and you can kind of tell where they're at. But for the most part, people are pretty fair, and the reason we guarantee the fertility rate and things like that is mainly because we stand behind the product. So we believe, or I shouldn't put words in your mouth, we think we have the best product for you. We think we have the best customer service for you. If we didn't think that, then we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So we might as well put our money where our mouth is. And then, you know, I think that builds trust, which is pretty much why I started it, long story short.
And I think we haven't visited many quail farms, but the reason we can have the variety of quail that we do and feel confident about our fertility rate is we don't have massive cages. We have research cages, we have a colony cage, but we are constantly redoing the males, and we have our long hand as to how many females get taken out for whatever reason. And so we're pretty confident that we have the right ratio of males to females, and that we have new enough males that they're interested. So
well, and we candle every week.
Yeah,
pretty much on average we candle every week. So with that, we know what our fertility is all the time, and we keep track of it. I communicate that with Papa and Jenna, and you know, we stay on top of it, and we've pretty much had the same fertility rate for at least the past year.
Yeah, and it's nice that we do have an opportunity to check those.
So it does take time to candle, but we definitely think it's worth it for that reason alone. Chicky Chicken says, when the new barn is finished, are you still going to have quail in the old barn, or are you repurposing it?
I'm hoping to repurpose it, but
Like I could have the garage back?
like he could have his garage back.
Like that would be fun for me.
Yeah.
But most likely something will go on. Something will go in there, I'm sure. Papa, can you give us some info on making J feeders? Metal thickness, using a brake or other to bend, pop rivets, or spot weld?
You know, I don't know what version, dude. I don't know what version of feeders we're on, but it's not 1, 2, or 3. I assure you. The gauge is. I buy all my aluminum. Most of all the feeders now are aluminum. At one time, I was trying to use plastic and pop riveting, but the place that I buy my aluminum, I go in the back where they have their what they would call their drops, and it's a fraction of the price. I buy a lot of aluminum from them and have over the years, so I can buy the aluminum sheet for a buck a pound. So to ask me what gauge it is, I'm a carpenter and don't really know what. I know 16 gauge is a 16th of an inch. 16th of an inch, pretty thick. So I like to go something a little less than that if I can, because it's starting to weigh more, which costs more. But my answer to the question was whatever you can get cheap. And sometimes I'm bending a little thicker stuff than I'd like to bend, but it was cheap. And so we do have a brake here. We have an 8-foot old trusty brake, and then I have a pan brake, which you need for that last bend. And to get inside, it'd be easier for me to be in the shop always. But pop rivets are fine, of course.
Now, there's still some that needs to be made. Is that correct? For the breeders? Is there some more feeders that need to be made, or?
Yeah, we could do a video on it.
That'd be a easy video, which you're going to be doing the next couple of days anyway.
Yep, it'd be an easy video, but again, you want to make a paper pattern, and the feeders that you see on our new brooders, I think he showed them to you. If he hasn't, we can take you in there. They're not perfect, but to have something that's going to work for all ages, it's not going to be perfect, because the smaller birds need a smaller lip, and when they do get 3 weeks old, then they start throwing the food out, and we've made another little pan that goes underneath and on top of the poop pan to catch that. So it's a little wider than the feeder and a little deeper, so as to not get so much poop in there. But we can reclaim quite a bit of the food that the older birds throw out. The younger birds don't throw out so much with that brooder feeder. But we've been keeping those birds in the brooder for 3 weeks, I think. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the grow out cages have a very similar cage, or a similar feeder, but it has 1 by 2, the same wire that I used for the cage, over top of it, so that they can't throw it from side to side. And it's a little deeper, of course, and the way that it goes, they have a hard time filling it all the way up, so that they can, throw it off the side. But that made a big difference with that. And actually, it was a old-time farmer that kind of showed me that trick with his chickens. So, and that may be something you can't see very, very well in a video, and we'll have to elaborate on that as we do a video of that.
And I wouldn't say anything is set in stone as far as what you make, right? You're always, I mean, if you find a different way, then you're more than willing
and we would, and I enjoy looking at everybody's ideas. And
I mean, to me, that would be a huge takeaway, because I don't think you have one specific way of how you do everything. You continue to evolve with it.
Yeah, which is expensive, because you're throwing away, last year's stuff because this year you got a better one. And that's why you're watching, I suppose, is so you can take advantage of all of our failures, and we've had plenty of those to take advantage of. So, yeah, that's why we're sharing with you, is so you can at least get the best version of what we're doing right now.
Donald, I will get to your question in just a second, but this ties in with the feeders. Can you use rabbit feeders the same way as jay feeders? Yes.
Probably. I'm not savvy on what, I think I know what it is. If it's, again, we have quite a few birds in our cage, so that's why they got so big. But if you have just a home situation, that might be just fine. I think that, coupled with maybe that screen over top of it to keep them from throwing it out so much, it might be fine.
I agree. I will get to everybody's questions, I promise. I was looking on your website at the German pastels, and it said they don't breed true. What colors do you get if you breed them? Thanks for the info and enjoyed the lives from Alabama. Thank you. Welcome, Alabama. With the German pastels, so the easiest way, do you want to answer it?
No.
The easiest way to explain it is the German pastel collection and the Schofield silver collection you can group together. The reason I say that is because they're both collections of different genes that created that. So the German pastels carry the phi gene, which is where you get the fab phis from, the pearls, the growl phis, another color that I'm working on that I'm not allowed to talk about according to Jenna, and so on and so forth. So the German pastels, you could get some fab phis, you could get some pearls. The German pastels are not one color. There's dark ones, there's light ones, there's tuxedos. I mean, there's a wide variety. You will get some Tibetans. It's really a mix. But what does come out of it all carries the pastel gene, and they're all gorgeous. I don't know if that was a good answer or not. But what are the dimensions of your cages?
Again, like you said, there's no set dimensions. Basically, you can say I need X number of birds, and you only want to have, 3 or 4 per square foot. Is that right?
3.5. Yep.
3 or 4. It's hard to get 3.5 in there.
Well, if you have.
Yeah, you're right. So, so that's how you decide how big your cage is, if you knew how many birds you had or wanted in that cage. For me, again, I have bought scrap aluminum, and today it's yo big, and so today I want to optimize that sheet, and my pan is 2 inches less than the sheet because I'm bending an inch up on all the sides if I'm using a pan. So I decide what's the hardest to get or the most expensive piece to get for that cage, and then I build it around what's available, and then we decide how many birds can go in it. So again, because we're building so many cages, if you can save $10, that might be a lot of money. So if you're only building one cage, then that line of thinking probably is not very relevant, and you would build it to how many birds you think you wanted to have in that cage. But whatever you do, don't make it deeper than you can reach, or higher and deeper than you can reach,
Or lower.
or lower and deeper than you can reach, or have the sides on your brooders so tall that you can't reach it because. So that's the real deal.
Yeah, Papa's very, very good at not only practical thinking, but long term. So he could have built what, 1 or 2 more sections below.
Yeah.
But then I'd be bending over all the time to collect the eggs, count the birds, get them in, get them out, and you know, so you know, we have less birds than what we could, but long term, I'm gonna really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, the ergonomics of work is important.
Yeah.
If fatigue sets in, if it ain't right, and fatigue is not your friend, especially when you're as old as I am. So, yeah. But that's a fair question. I hope I've answered it. I'm saying that it doesn't matter.
John Wells, you have been the most patient person I've ever met, and I promise you I will ask him in a minute. There's a couple ahead of you. He's asked this every night, and I refuse to answer, but you will. I just don't want to tell him the story. Papa, what is your brooder watering system made out of? PVC sizes and jar sizes.
Again, the PV I think was an inch.
It is PVC.
It is PVC. It was an inch in diameter. Did I do a video on that?
I thought you did.
I think I did. And of course we're using some kind of a heater to bend that, air heater. What am I trying to say? The air heater?
The heat gun?
The heat gun. and a form's handy. And then you want to cut it, you know, and how it all did. But if you've never built one, what I don't know that I did a good job of explaining is in that cap, the PVC 3-inch cap or 4-inch cap, depending on what size jar, in that cap is something to hold the jar up that has the holes in the lid at the right height to keep it. If you just set it right down on there, you're not going to get any water out of it. It has to be up a little bit for that vacuum thing to work, which would be your rabbit feeders, and there's a lot of feeders or waterers that work on that vacuum principle. But you have to have something to hold that up to the right level. But again, you could have a teeny tiny one and use a smallmouth, you know, half pint jar if you wanted to. We're using half-gallon jars, and I think it takes a 4-inch. But we could revisit that if you'd like it. Zach doesn't like the waters, and I'm really disappointed in that because it is so much easier not to get into the cage. But and we're going to try to
revisit it.
Yeah, we're going to try to.
He's going to convince me.
I'm going to convince him to go back to those because
I stopped using them.
Because we yeah. There's that.
It's a sensitive subject right now, so we're going to move on. John Wells says, Papa, Zach knows I'm going to ask you this question. There's one question ahead of you. Wolfpack says, I use sandboxes for my jumbos. They always lay the eggs there. Is there any downside to using a sandbox for jumbo quail? You want me to answer it or you want to?
I would say you have to answer that one.
We are dealing with that now. I did bring that idea to Papa not too long ago about incorporating a sandbox into the cage.
You're talking a dust bath?
Yes.
Is that what he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to make them a lot happier and a lot more content. And typically when they're happier, they lay more eggs. So we are going to incorporate that into our new cages. We just haven't worked out the details yet.
Somehow. Of course, like you say, they're going to lay the eggs in there. All your slope business just got nullified and yaka. But
currently,
but it is nice to have, you know, a dust bath in there for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as doing, you know, a daily routine and time management, it's a horrible idea. But as far as production standpoint on their end, as far as laying more eggs, you know, it's a necessary thing that we've got to figure out. All right, John, how did you come up with the farm name Myshire Farm?
Okay,
Oh, God.
I'm glad you asked. I'll make a short story even shorter.
Oh.
Lord of the Rings has hobbits that live in the Shire. And, I don't know how long ago the Lord of the Rings was.
Long time ago.
And those of you who haven't watched it aren't American. So you need to do that just constitutionally, I think. And then, but it's the shires where they lived. But this is my shire. So it's my shire farm. And that's the true story.
Believe me, that's the true story.
So it might be kind of silly now, but at the time, man, I'm telling you, it was really important to me. So there you go.
It's a good story.
And we've been able to make, we have our shire down there where the quail barn is.
Mm-hmm.
And our logo is that root cellar that looks like a hobbit house. And I enjoy that kind of architecture. So basically,
I think it's worked out pretty well.
Basically, it was just, and hobbits are cool. And so, we try
We're going to move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
All right. John Wells says LOL. He's been waiting since like Monday for that story.
I'm sorry about that, John. I hope that
it's good. It's all good.
I hope that it was okay.
So cool. He says that thanks, that's so cool. All right. Adam says that's awesome.
See? Probably watched the movie.
He's an American. Actually, I think Adam's in the UK.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right, so Justin asks, what relationship is Papa to you, Zach? Go ahead.
I don't claim him, but he has to claim me as his father-in-law.
Jenna is his daughter.
There you go. His wife is my daughter.
Right. Father-in-law, son-in-law.
Father-in-law, son-in-law.
Social media. What platform is most useful, least useful? Heard you mention WhatsApp. How will you integrate that instead of giving out your phone number or in addition to? I get a lot of slack from someone about giving out my phone number and so on and so forth. But we have different jobs and different ideas, and we all come together, which is why I think Myshire Farm has been so successful, is because there is not a brain like he's got, but I've got the ability to sell and customer service and things like that, and Jenna's got the knowledge that I'm never going to have. So all together, it's an amazing team. So I do need to create the WhatsApp because I do have quite a bit of people from the UK, from Egypt, from Israel, Canada, all over that try to contact me all the time. Australia, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong?
Yep.
Yeah, we don't tread on each other's stuff.
We do like to give feedback to each other.
Yeah, we feedback,
but we trust each other's.
He does his thing, I do my thing.
Yeah.
Jenna does her thing.
Right. So the answer to that question is I do need to create WhatsApp because I have another clientele that I'm missing out on. Long story short.
It is.
Do what?
I don't even know.
WhatsApp is like, from my, I'm dumb. I don't know. I think it is like a free calling system internationally.
Oh.
Is what I think.
Cool. We're getting smarter all the time.
All the time, guys.
All the time.
Hi, Monica. Where are you from? Sadie, your other question, social media. I can say that social media is important, and it doesn't matter what avenue you go down. Now, I am very partial to Facebook. I started on Facebook. I'm comfortable with Facebook. Facebook is in my wheelhouse. That's kind of the group. I know the younger generation is going with Snapchat and Twitter and stuff like that. I need to get with the times. I have a Snapchat account, but I don't do anything with it. I have a Twitter account, but I don't understand it at all. So I'm missing out, and we talked about that today, where I got to set time aside to do that stuff. But I would say every social avenue you can go down, you need to take advantage of it. I'm not fully taking advantage of it, but we're not ready to expand in that way yet either. But I need to get familiar with everything. That's a good question. Long story short, Facebook is my preference, but that doesn't mean that, we've gotten a ton of sales off of Instagram. The website is extremely important. eBay is extremely important. Craigslist, Hoobly. I mean, we try to go after it all, because you're just missing dollar bills every time you decide not to do something you're not comfortable with.
But on the same token, and we struggle with this all the time, is you can only do what you can do. You can only do what your birds can do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're overexposing yourself and you have more business than we can do, then we really, really work hard at not doing that. There's people that take orders and you might get your eggs in 6 months. We don't like that idea at all.
No, my rule of thumb is 2 weeks. So if I'm 2 weeks out on certain eggs, we pull them off the website, we pull them off eBay, I don't auction them. I feel like 2 weeks is my limit. Sometimes, we might have a crazy day on social media or on the website, and I might oversell, but there is no more orders until I get caught up. There's no more orders that's going to be taken after that. And I try to contact you guys to let you know. But that's a good question. And yeah, I've got probably 6 or 7 good marketing ideas that I'm just not ready for because we're sold out of eggs.
Right.
So there's no reason to keep expanding when I can't supply them. It's a good question though, very good question. That is awesome. Thanks, that's so cool. That is awesome. Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
From Oklahoma. So I think all of that was your story about how you came up with the name.
That's my dog Leo.
Should I be worried about sneezing quail, or is that normal?
That's probably a Shire thing. No, just kidding. Sneezing quail. We got sneezing quail?
I would say no, but if it's something that I'm thinking you might be talking about, it is a neurological thing, and so yes. But I would need to know more information to give you an answer. Typically, I would say no, and typically the neurological thing that I've witnessed and heard from with other experienced breeders starts at week old, and they typically have it all throughout. So if it's just starting, then no, I wouldn't worry about it at all. When you store eggs for eating in the fridge, do you do anything to them? Wash, clean, and how long might they stay fresh in the fridge? Me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't store them in the fridge. I collect them the same day we deliver them. But we've been told, and I think we're going with it, is 2 weeks. We're comfortable telling you that they're good for 2 weeks in the fridge. I know that a bunch of people...
eat?
Yes.
Oh,
I know that a bunch of people say 3 weeks. I've heard as long as 6. So we're going the safe route and saying 2 weeks is what we're going to say.
and I've heard long time too.
Yeah. Now, as far as reptiles go, I have had actual breeders from the places that we've went, as far as the shows that they have. They keep those for 6 months in the freezer, and then pull whatever they're going to use out that week and let them thaw out. And that's from breeders that have a lot. But as far as human consumption goes, we tell our people, our customers, our corporate accounts in Cincinnati, 2 weeks. You okay with that answer?
Safe.
Yeah, it's safe. Better be safe than sorry, especially for human consumption. I mixed tuxedo, Tibetan, Schofield silvers together. Most of them came out looking like tuxedos, but I had one come out solid white. If I mix that solid white one together, will they produce more white? If I mix all the solid white ones together, they will produce more white. They will, but you will also get tuxedos, and you also get SSCs because how do I explain? So the SSCs and the tuxedos are both bred by using white birds, right? So to get a tuxedo, let's say you want a Tibetan tuxedo, you're gonna put a Tibetan male over a white hen, then you'll get tuxedos, and then you can put your tuxedos together and get more and more and more and more, right? So tuxedos do not breed true. Typically you should get about 50 to 60% tuxedo. The rest of them should be whatever color it is, and half of that should be whatever color it is, the other half should be white. So if you're breeding a Tibetan tuxedo, 50% should be tuxedo, 25% should be Tibetan, 25% should be white. So you would have to breed that white multiple generations to get those other genes out of it. But yes, it is possible. I am just curious, do you guys take any vacations once in a while from California? God bless. God bless you, David.
Some of us do.
You go on more vacations than I do. You go to Canada once a year.
Maybe.
And then usually you throw in another trip every once in a while in there once a year.
So I guess the answer is yes.
I go once every 2 years, and that is a forced thing. I grew up, not like how we live here, but I grew up, and my grandma is huge on vacations. And so we didn't go on one last year because we were on a budget, and we were getting out of debt, and I was wanting to quit my job and do this full time and blah, 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 and so we didn't do it. And I made the mistake of telling my grandma that once I quit, then we'll schedule something. I shouldn't have said it. I was just trying to pacify her. Anyway, she scheduled something without telling me and then told the
Probably
kids.
watching.
I know. She knows this. She knows what she did. She told the kids that we were going on a vacation, so anyways, I went. It's a good thing that they make me go, because it's a very good bonding time, and it helps. But I go once every 2 years. He goes, I go for a week. He'll go for 2 or 3 days.
Fair enough.
So it's equal. I was just curious. Oh, no. What is your favorite quail dish?
Quail dish, as in eating quail?
Yes.
You guys eat quail?
Shut up. Well.
I like mine on the grill.
Yeah.
Little olive oil on the grill, forget about it.
Jenna baked them once. That was really, really good. But that was only one time. We always grill them out. It's the easiest, fastest. We're usually in a hurry to do it. But we probably have not had quail in...
a long time.
I bet it was 2 years ago, July 4th, when we grilled out for everybody. We haven't had any quail. I come from a sales background, and so if I can sell it, we don't get it. But in the new barn,
Yeah, right.
we should have some, and we'll eat it.
It could happen.
We like it.
It could happen. We do like it a lot. But when we have our classes, our butcher classes, we always try to have some quail
That's true.
before we start a butcher class. And we do bare minimum, just a little olive oil, hardly like to put any salt or pepper on them. We like for the people to taste the quail. I mean, we could put barbecue sauce on a shoe, but we want them to taste the quail, and before they, have an opportunity to learn how to butcher it. And it always works out great. Everybody loves it. It's just, I don't know. It's a good meal as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and we just butchered on Friday. We just butchered 150 on Friday, and they are not all sold yet. And Sadie says you should do a quail grilling video. And that
Quail.
would be a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
So we will
Can
do
I
that.
eat some of that? No?
We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know how many. I might just do one.
We just do one or two so you can sell the rest.
Right.
Right.
Open up the pack.
Seal the back up.
That's a good idea. I will do that, and that'll justify me
And me.
Eating the quail as a whole family,
Whole family.
and I can justify it by it's for marketing.
Yep. Great idea. Thank you.
Great, and 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
So, great idea. All right, so we are out of questions. I'm sitting at 41 minutes, so we will wait 2 more minutes, and then if there's no other questions, we will we'll end it and post it, and then go from there. What newsletter app are you going to be using? It's MailChimp, and then our website has one that I just learned about that I'll be looking into also. So I really am, I promise this week is really dedicated to WhatsApp and Twitter and Instagram and the website and continued education and all kinds of stuff. What email marketing server do you, same thing, just started looking into myself. Yeah, as far as I know, the information that I got from somebody that I trust, MailChimp is definitely a way you want to go. And I didn't realize this, but our subscription on our website comes with an automatic newsletter that I just have to do. I don't know how, but I'm going to find out this week, so that'll be exciting. Do you sell slaughtered birds for human consumption? We do, but it is for individual use only and farm pickup. We do not ship it, and the laws in Ohio, we're allowed to sell it to an individual, we're just not allowed to sell it to a business.
That's correct. We can sell eggs to restaurants or...
And that's just with a small
stores.
egg producer's license.
Yeah.
But that's in Ohio, so you really want to do your research in wherever you live, because as we've seen on here, there's international in Florida and Iowa and Arkansas and Arizona, and so look where you're at. Any advice for increasing the omega-3 content of the quail meat and eggs? It's over my head.
Over my head. Jenna might know that one.
Jenna might. I don't think I will ever get her on the camera. I talked to her about it last night again, but I will ask her. If I had to answer that right now, that is why we talk to PhD doctors that make game bird feed, so we could do that. So my answer to that would be to go to our YouTube channel, find the video that talks about our feed, and see at the very end we do a close-up that you can pause that has all the ingredients and the percentages and everything like that about our feed. But when we made our feed, I was on the phone and we talked, and people came out that know what they were doing, and we explained to them and told them exactly what we wanted, what we were doing, what we were trying to accomplish, what was important to us, and they did a great job.
Yeah. But since we're this is a stretch on the topic, but I spent all morning moving cow manure and hay.
Talking about consumption.
Talking about human consumption. To our compost pile, and in the compost pile, of course, we have our quail poop, and in the quail poop is all of the feed that they waste. They went down into the quail poop, and because of all the minerals and stuff that are in the feed, it ends up in our compost. So all the trace minerals that you talk about that are missing in the soil today, because they don't put trace minerals in the soil as a rule, they end up in my compost. And so I know that's a really stretch on the omega-3, but we have our compost that we use in our gardens, and we had it tested, and it is off the chart on everything. So it just couldn't be any better. But it also has all those trace minerals that the birds didn't get to eat that we eventually do get to eat. So that's pretty fun too.
Yeah. Amanda says, love your pups. They want their camera time.
They do. Come here, Leo.
Oh, Lord.
Come on here.
My dog doesn't listen as well. Stop, stop.
Here, there's a good
My
dog.
dog is a bull in the china shop.
Here. There's Delilah.
There's Delilah. It's a good girl.
Don't kick her over the...
God, she's scaring the crap out of me. Justin says, have you ever eaten a raw quail egg? I think you did, didn't you?
No.
I thought you tried it.
No, I didn't try it.
Oh.
That's Delilah.
We as a family of 5 all ate one last night. They were not bad at all. We had one child that could not hold it down. LOL.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I was training for the Olympics, LOL. Is that right, LOL?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'd eat raw eggs.
You haven't tried quail raw egg?
No, I don't think I have.
Why not?
I don't think I will. What, dog?
All right, so we're sitting at Dogs. Move.
Well, this was fun. We got a beautiful night. It's just gorgeous out tonight. Sure, thank you for joining us. We got our new quail barn behind us, our dogs beside us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Life's good.
So we're gonna finish. With this. If there's any other questions, we will be back on next week, or you can feel free to message
Same
me
time?
or comment. I will talk to Jenna and Papa tonight or tomorrow. We will decide what the topic will be, and then I will post every Monday what the topic is and the day and time. The day and time will be the same every week, but I don't want to commit to something until we all talk,
All right.
because there might be some weeks where it's just you. So we'll need to discuss that. But look for our video tomorrow, Myshire Farm, and we'll be talking about what the topic is, the day and the time, and we'll be doing this every week because we've had a ton of feedback, a ton of you guys supporting us, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, Scott. And so with that, I'm going to finish with the question that I promised I would answer that I never did. And someone asked me, they've asked me all week and I keep forgetting. So I'm not going to forget, Charles. I'm really sorry. They asked me what if I had one thing, what is the most important thing when you start a business? And I listen to a lot of autobiographies. I listen to a lot of interviews from successful people. Papa's been very successful in his life. And so if it was up to I want you to answer it too. One thing to start a business, most important thing. But if it was my call, I would say the will to do it. So quick story, my daughter is 6.
Changes all the time.
I know, I think she's
She's
6.
6.
Madison, how old are you? Ah, crap, I missed a year. She's 7. All right, so she came to me today and said, when are we gonna have another party here? And I said, well, Taekwondo is supposed to have their annual event here next month in September. She goes, okay, great. I'm gonna start a business. And I said, okay. She goes, so what do I do? And I said, well, come up with an idea, come to me, and then we'll work it out. So she comes up to me 5 minutes later and says, okay, so I'm gonna take pictures for people, and they can take pictures of a cat or a dog or a bird or them by themselves or for family for $1, and if they want an animal and the family, it's $2.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know, it was pretty good. I was pretty impressed. And I said, well, I'm a little concerned because people can take their own pictures for free on their phones, so what about if you do like a lemonade stand? And she goes, oh, I have to do that with my brother, and I want to do it by myself. And she goes, so here's the problem. I would read your book, Small Business for Dummies, because I have that book. And she goes, but I can't read. And so I thought it was funny as crap, but on the same token, you've got to have that thing, you know, that self-motivation, that desire to do it. If you listen to all the very successful people in the world, they all have one thing in common, and it's enthusiasm and desire to do it. So get passionate about what you're doing, and you know, there's a lot of other steps to go involved with it. Hard work, work smart, time, effort, energy, resources, but you've got to have that passion, is long story short. What about you?
Well, I've been fortunate enough. I was a builder of things all my life, and that's what I do. That's who I am. That's what I love doing. I got paid for it. So, and in the end, it paid out pretty good. But it didn't always pay out very good, I'm telling you that. But I always enjoyed it. So, for me, in the autumn of life, you know, I'd have to say, you better like what you like. You better like what you're doing. You better like it, because you're going to be doing a lot of it.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing it, you know, a long time, maybe not, but
Hope.
but if you don't like it, find something you do like. That would be my recommendation.
Good answer. We did have a couple more questions that we'll answer just real quick. What are the size and weight of your pearls? Do you know?
No, I don't know. That's your job.
They are currently there at 9.25 ounces. And Sadie says, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. John Wells says, thanks so much for your time. David says, people say the quail tastes kind of like dove. Is that true, or which one tastes better? God bless.
More like bald eagle, I thought.
I've never had dove. It is gamier.
Gamier than what?
Other stuff. It's gamier than a chicken. A little bit.
I think your battery's run out.
All right, guys. Obviously, that wasn't a good answer. So my battery's about to die. We've been on for close to an hour, so we're going to call it. Watch for my video tomorrow. Please like and share and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. That's why we're doing it. So we'll see you next time, and watch my video for tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Been real.